Gu Qingxuan was a little embarrassed, but tried her best to keep calm, hoping that Lin Moyu would not think too much. Lin Moyu suddenly sneered, "Senior Sister Gu, you actually look good when you smile, you should smile more often." Gu Qingxuan, who was a little embarrassed at first, now her pretty face blushed suddenly, her chest heaved rapidly, and she didn't know how to deal with it for a while. She didn't know how to react, and it seemed that any reaction was wrong. After a few seconds, she took a deep breath and forced herself to calm down. "You." Before she could say anything, Lin Moyu suddenly interrupted her, "It's here." The Zhangwang Tower stopped suddenly, and there was a large meteorite belt in front of it. It can be seen that the galaxy has been broken, and there are floating meteorites everywhere in the entire galaxy. In the very center of the galaxy, the stars are still glowing and glowing. The stars exude power and want to pull the broken star meteorites back together. However, due to the disordered and chaotic laws and the existence of strange creatures, Xingxing's countless years of efforts have ended in failure. Arriving suddenly, Gu Qingxuan eased the embarrassment. The two left the Tower of the King of War, 1,000 kilometers away from the galaxy. To him, 1,000 kilometers is just a short distance, which can be reached in a blink of an eye. Gu Qingxuan felt a sense of depression, which washed away all her previous embarrassment. "Junior brother Lin, do you feel it?" Lin Moyu nodded. "Well, the laws here are extremely chaotic, and the laws are like weapons, constantly touching people. They each have their own territories, like small battlefields where outsiders will be regarded as invaders and attack them in groups." Gu Qingxuan also saw this clearly. These laws all contain the will of those warriors back then, and they become eternal, and the years are indelible. Lin Moyu shook his head, denying Gu Qingxuan's opinion. "It's not will, it's obsession. I didn't understand before, what kind of will can last for countless years, and now I finally understand." Lin Moyu has the power of faith and possesses a fourth-grade soul. In this respect, he is much more sensitive than Gu Qingxuan. He saw the essence at a glance. Gu Qingxuan looked at Lin Moyu curiously. "Junior brother Lin, please speak." Lin Moyu continued, "It may be the remaining will at first, but the will inevitably disappear, leaving only obsession. The stars want to restore the galaxy, heal the wounds, and radiate power continuously, coupled with the power of the stars from the big world. These forces ultimately provide nutrients for the existence of obsessions, allowing them to survive without fear of the years. It is precisely because of their existence that strange creatures were born, and it is difficult for the galaxy to recover." Lin Moyu spoke out what he saw and heard. Gu Qingxuan couldn't stop nodding her head. Lin Moyu's words were well-founded, and it seemed that this was indeed the case. "A mere first-order true god, you're talking nonsense here." Suddenly, the voice of the soul rang out. Lin Moyu and Gu Qingxuan saw a person galloping from the starry sky and stopped in front of them. It was a man who came, dressed gorgeously and had a deep breath. Lin Moyu glanced over and saw his breath. Xiao Shuyuan, the 5th level of Shenzhen. He snorted coldly at Lin Moyu, then looked at Gu Qingxuan. "Junior Sister Gu, what a coincidence, we meet again." Lin Moyu glanced at Gu Qingxuan. "Senior Sister Gu knows him." Gu Qingxuan hummed, "I've seen him a few times, he is the grandson of Xuanguang Shenjun." Lin Moyu knew it clearly. It seemed that he had taken a fancy to Gu Qingxuan, otherwise it would be such a coincidence that he could meet him in this kind of place, so he must have followed her here. Lin Moyu joked, "If I'm not mistaken, he often meets Sister Gu by chance." Gu Qingxuan is not an idiot. "Yes, I met him a few times later, but I ignored him. It feels wrong to say this." She felt as if she was explaining to Lin Moyu, telling Lin Moyu that she had nothing to do with them. "But why do you have to explain yourself? This feeling is very strange, and Gu Qingxuan can't explain it clearly. I always feel that the explanation is wrong, and it is wrong not to explain it." Gu Qingxuan fell into embarrassment again, and the feeling of being in the Battle King's Tower came to mind again. In order to ease the embarrassment, Gu Qingxuan yelled at the two of them, "We're talking here, it's none of your business." Xiao Shuyuan looked at Gu Qingxuan, his eyes shone slightly. "Junior Sister Gu, don't blame me, I just heard that this junior brother is wrong, and I want to correct it." His tone seemed to be quite polite, but unfortunately Gu Qingxuan didn't buy it at all. "Whether it's right or not is none of your business, and you don't need to correct it." Xiao Shuyuan had a smile on his face. He seemed to have good self-cultivation, and he was not angry because of Gu Qingxuan's words. "Junior Sister Gu is wrong, some younger brothers are wrong, as a senior brother, I naturally have to correct them." What he said seemed righteous, but his eyes betrayed him. His gaze never left Gu Qingxuan. Obviously he was interested in Gu Qingxuan. In fact, this is normal. Gu Qingxuan is indeed a rare beauty. Even in a world full of beauties, Gu Qingxuan is outstanding both in appearance and temperament. Usually Gu Qingxuan is very eye-catching, and it is normal to be liked. It just depends on the occasion if you like it. If you want to show off by belittling yourself, Lin Moyu can only say that this guy is a little brainless and a little stupid. Not only is he stupid, but he also has a thick skin, otherwise he wouldn't have followed him all the time. The previous encounters were also intentional. But Gu Qingxuan obviously had nothing to do with him, because her master and his grandfather were old friends, so she couldn't say some serious things. But Lin Moyu doesn't care. You can't say it, let me say it. Lin Moyu looked at Xiao Shuyuan. You say I'm talking nonsense, do you have evidence? Xiao Shuyuan snorted coldly. There is no need for evidence for something that is obvious at a glance. You are only the first level of true gods, so you can see anything. The laws here are all the great will left by the ancestors of the human race. How could it become an obsession? You are a mere little fellow of the first rank of a true god. It's fine if you don't understand yourself, but you actually call the will of the ancestors an obsession. Do you know what obsession is? Lin Moyu sighed. How could he not be able to tell what is will and what is obsession? He is too clear about the difference between the two. Not all obsessions are bad. In the rotting corpse world, what the ancestors of the human race left behind was obsession, the obsession to protect the human race. It is precisely because of this that he was able to escape from death at the beginning. As for the will, there is still a weak thinking ability, not just instinct. Like the place of burial in the deep space, what they leave behind is their will, which is higher than obsession. It can be said that obsession is like a beast. It doesn't know how to think, it only has instinct. Just to see what that instinct is. The obsession in the galaxy in front of me is to resist foreign enemies, so all people who enter the galaxy, no matter who they are regarded as enemies. So Lin Moyu can see at a glance that these are obsessions, and he no longer wants to. Seeing that Lin Moyu didn't speak, Xiao Shuyuan thought that he couldn't refute, and said in a deep voice, "Don't talk nonsense if you don't understand. It's not what the children of the human race should do to slander the ancestors. If you talk nonsense again in the future, if you can't say it, I will replace it for you. Parents, I will teach you a lesson." He lifted himself to the highest point of morality, looking down on Lin Moyu. Gu Qingxuan's face became gloomy, and she was about to speak, but was stopped by Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu sighed, his eyes were like knives. If you like senior sister Gu, it's okay to pursue her generously. But if you want to step on me and improve yourself, it's a bit too much. Not to mention. Lin Moyu's tone suddenly turned severe. What's more, even if I'm wrong, so what? What are you? What qualifications do you have to criticize me? I'm talking to senior sister Gu. Is it your turn to talk too much? Is your family uneducated or something? Do you want to go home and learn how to speak? In the small world, Lin Moyu is the master of the world and a general. Anyone who sees him is polite, and Lin Moyu has always been polite to others. The guy in front of him popped up for no reason. In his opinion, he was sick, seriously ill. After being told by Lin Moyu, Xiao Shuyuan couldn't hold back anymore. Boy, be bold. Xiao Shuyuan shouted suddenly, and his huge tilde breath rose suddenly. The huge aura of the fifth level of the true god swept across the starry sky, slapping towards Lin Moyu like a tsunami. Be careful. Gu Qingxuan wanted to step forward to defend Lin Moyu, but Lin Moyu reached out and stopped her directly. Instead, he turned slightly sideways, blocking the impact of his breath for her. Lin Moyu didn't move at all, even his face didn't change, but he smiled casually. Why, you can't talk, do you want to do it? It is said that the gentleman is active in his mouth but not in his hands. It seems that you are not a gentleman. Seeing that Lin Moyu was unmoved and unaffected, Xiaoju's face became even more gloomy. Little guy, talking nonsense will cause trouble. Lin Moyu said with disdain, you don't want to do it, right? This is the Vermilion Bird Starfield, and Renwang Network is watching. As soon as Lin Moyu said this, Xiao Shuyuan's aura was like a ball with a hole in it, and he lost his breath all of a sudden. Lin Moyu is right, there are people around the internet, and they really dare not do anything. Unauthorized actions against the same race, no matter what the reason, the punishment is very heavy. Even if the grandfather is Xuanguang God Venerable, they can't afford it. This is an iron law and cannot be touched. Gu Qingxuan was a little nervous at first, but now she has relaxed. Lin Moyu looked at him with disdain in his eyes, and said lightly, I'm a coward. Anger flashed in his eyes, and Xiao Shuyuan said coldly, "Boy, you must never leave the realm of the human race in the future. The Renwang network is not ubiquitous." Lin Moyu also said coldly, "I also hope you don't meet me in a place where there is no Renwang network." He doesn't want to talk nonsense with Lin Moyu anymore, he can't fight, and the verbal dispute is meaningless. Xiao Shuyuan said to Gu Qingxuan, "Junior sister Gu, I heard that you have accepted the task of cleaning up the strange creatures in this galaxy and are looking for companions. Senior brother may be able to help you." Quote. Gu Qingxuan resolutely refused, "I have already found a helper." Xiao Shuyuan glanced at Lin Moyu, and let out a sneer, "Junior sister Gu is joking, this kid is only the first level of true god, and the weird creature is at least the fourth level of super god, he can only become a burden to junior sister Gu. How about this, I help junior sister Gu complete the task, but I don't need the orb of law, I'm just a helper." Lin Moyu laughed and said, "You are going to break senior sister Gu's way to the god city." Gu Qingxuan's complexion changed suddenly. When heading to Shencheng, all the missions he had done would be reviewed. If cheating is found, the qualification of God City will be cancelled on the spot, and there is no way to enter God City for life. As Xiao Shuyuan said, Jinguo cheated. Otherwise, wouldn't Gu Qingxuan's younger brother come? With the power of a god, dealing with the weird creatures here is not a big deal. Xiao Shuyuan forgot this, realized that he had really said something wrong, and quickly apologized, "Junior sister Gu, that's not what I meant." Gu Qingxuan's complexion had completely darkened, and her voice was cold. "I don't need senior brother's help here, senior brother, please do what you want." Xiao Shuyuan's face was as ugly as if he had drunk bad water, and he gave Lin Moyu a hard look. "Boy, I remember you." Lin Moyu smiled slightly, "It's the same, I hope we can meet outside the human race in the future." Xiao Shuyuan cupped his fists towards Gu Qingxuan, "Junior sister, this is because senior brother didn't think carefully about this matter, please don't take it to heart." After finishing speaking, Xiao Shuyuan turned and left, and disappeared from sight in the blink of an eye. Gu Qingxuan looked at Lin Moyu, seeming a little worried. "This person has a small mind, junior brother Lin, be careful." Lin Moyu smiled slightly, "I don't have a big heart, he should be careful." Gu Qingxuan shook her head, "He is nothing, but he is the grandson of the Xuanguang god, and he has a magic weapon for protection. He can even summon the projection of the god to descend. If you meet outside the human race, be careful. Summon the projection of the gods. ... Lin Moyu said lightly, "This is a bit troublesome." "It is indeed a bit of trouble, but only a little trouble. Not to mention, I will not leave the human race for the time being. It also depends on how strong the god's projection is. When he leaves the territory of the human race, will the gods still threaten him?" Lin Moyu is not afraid of the god, under his hands, there is still a god's life hanging. As for Xiao Shuyuan's threat, he didn't even take it to heart, he was already on the demon race's must-kill list, so he was afraid of the threat of a little true god 5th rank. 0 looking for flowers. Seeing Gu Qingxuan's worried appearance, Lin Moyu smiled slightly, "Senior sister Gu, don't worry, it's not a big deal, let's do the task first." Gu Qingxuan hummed, "I'll turn around and ask master to see if I can get a magic weapon to save my life." Lin Moyu was slightly moved in his heart. No matter what, Gu Qingxuan's being able to say such words was considered very good. It shows that Gu Qingxuan really regards herself as a friend. It is not easy to ask the gods for magic weapons. The two crossed the meteorite belt and entered the galaxy. As soon as you enter the galaxy, you can immediately feel the difference between the inside and the outside. Outside the galaxy, although the laws are somewhat chaotic, at least they are acceptable. But inside the galaxy, the laws have become quite astonishingly chaotic. All kinds of laws are mixed together and twisted into a paste. These pastes flew around in the galaxy again, rampaging, and the power was surprisingly powerful. Coupled with the obsessions left by those ancient warriors, they turned into legal weapons, hacking and killing in the starry sky. There are also hidden, hard to find and weird creatures hidden in the dark. All in all, this galaxy has become a mess that is difficult to sort out. Gu Qingxuan seemed a little nervous, flying a ball of law not far away, with at least the 3rd level attack of the true god. If she was hit, even she would feel bad. It was the first time for her to enter a dangerous place, and she did not expect that the degree of danger here was beyond her imagination. After all, she is only at the 2nd level of super god. Even if she can leapfrog to fight, her ultimate combat power is around the 4th to 5th level of super god, so the pressure is not small. Lin Moyu pointed his fingers at her, and a layer of white light appeared on Gu Qingshuan's body, and Lin Moyu put on the bone armor for her. Don't be nervous, just follow the steps and everything will be fine. Lin Moyu's voice was slightly deep, which made Gu Qingshuan feel at ease. Gu Qingshuan took a deep breath, trying to calm herself down. Lin Moyu didn't look nervous at all, but was somewhat interested in the chaos here. The stars in the distance are constantly releasing light, which contains the power of the stars, trying to sort out the laws. Far from helping matters, its power further increased the chaos. Not only the power of the stars, even the laws of the great world, the power of the stars will be twisted into a ball when it enters here. To be able to make the starry sky like this, the battle back then was indeed very fierce. The flames lit up, and in Gu Qingshuan's palm, a spirit-seeking stone was ignited. Predict. Looking for Lingxi exudes a strange aura to the outside world. Like waves, layers upon layers scattered in all directions. Within 1,000 kilometers, several fires lit up. The firelight presents multicolored colors, which are particularly obvious in the starry sky. The flames marked by the spirit-seeking stone are the strange creatures that exist in the galaxy. Within a radius of 1,000 kilometers, there are 4 strange creatures. The nearest one is only more than 100 kilometers away from them. Walk. Lin Moyu is very interested in strange creatures, and the information does not introduce too much about them, only saying that they are the strange products of the collision and interweaving of laws. Strange creatures are just a general term, different types of laws, different levels of laws, and the strange creatures that are finally born are also strange, with different strengths and weaknesses. The strange creatures in this galaxy are only the 4th level of true gods, and occasionally the 5th level of true gods will appear. But even if it is only the 4th level of the real, 540, God, in Gu Qingshuan's eyes, it is extremely powerful. She is sure to deal with it, but she also needs to do her best. Therefore, Gu Qingshuan was a little nervous, her whole body was tense, and she had already begun to gather strength. Unlike Lin Moyu, with a relaxed face, it seems that he doesn't care about the weird creatures at all. The two stopped 10 kilometers away from the strange creature. On a broken meteorite, Lin Moyu saw this strange creature. The strange creature has 4 octopus-like tentacles, and the 4 tentacles are composed of 4 laws. The whole body is in the shape of a spherical mist, constantly beating and changing in the firelight. It is said to be a living being, but it has no breath of life. There is no real body, it is completely composed of laws, and there are many kinds of laws, and the division is chaotic. However, it has a soul, so it can barely be called a living being. Lin Moyu made an analysis based on what he saw. Gu Qingshuan said, it should be the will left behind by the dead soul, which has evolved into its soul. Lin Moyu has a different opinion, it's not like that. If that's the case, it should have thinking. A real strong man, even if there is only a trace of will left, may be reborn after a long period of time. But it doesn't, so I think its soul is connected by obsession. Gu Qingshuan felt that what Lin Moyu said was more reasonable. She only felt the chaotic breath from the strange creatures, not as clear as Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu said softly, it's useless to just look at it, try how weird it is. I'll take a look, don't move yet. Lin Moyu flew forward, Gu Qingshuan worried, be careful. It's fine. Lin Moyu wasn't worried at all, it was just a strange creature at the 4th order level of a true god, and it was nothing at all. He has full confidence in his defense. When the strange creature was still 1,000 meters away, the strange creature discovered Lin Moyu. The 4 tentacles, which were originally silent, suddenly danced. This change from extremely quiet to extremely dynamic is very rapid. Then Lin Moyu's eyes blurred, and a strange creature 1,000 meters away had appeared in front of him. High speed. Lin Moyu was startled, the speed of the strange creature exceeded his imagination. Like teleportation, even he couldn't see clearly. This kind of speed is very abnormal, it should not be the speed that the real God realm should have. The 4 tentacles whipped towards him like a whip, but Lin Moyu didn't hold it hard, and flew back. Strangely, the attack speed of the tentacles was not fast, and Lin Moyu avoided it calmly. When Lin Moyu retreated, the strange creature chased after him like teleporting again, and appeared in front of Lin Moyu. The 4 tentacles just landed on Lin Moyu. During the teleportation operation, the attack of the tentacles did not stop, but continued the previous attack. It's like raising a knife from 1,000 meters away to slash at it a second ago, and it has already been cut in half, but after 0.1 seconds, the whole person has moved forward for a kilometer, but the knife has been cut in half, and there is no need to raise it again but continue the process of cutting down before. Lin Moyu's body glowed with pure white light, and the bone armor was automatically activated, shining brightly. The 4-star spell linkage was activated, and a layer of bones appeared on the strange creature's body, and the strange creature's movements froze there instantly, unable to move. The bone fangs and bone spear erupted at the same time, tearing the strange creatures into pieces in the dazzling white light. Lin Moyu found that the attack power of the strange creatures is not strong, even a little worse than the 4th-order true god. And the defensive power is also not strong, and it is also not as good as a practitioner of the 4th-order true god. The attack power and defense power are not strong, and the attack speed is not fast, but the action speed is a bit weird. Combined with its speed of action, the attack is not easy to dodge. Lin Moyu saw that the flame mark left by the spirit stone still existed, which made Lin Moyu realize that the other party was not dead. Sure enough, only half a second later, the strange creature that was torn into pieces quickly reassembled and reappeared, seemingly intact. Lin Moyu looked at it and found that it was not completely lossless. It seems to be weaker than before. The length of each tentacle before was about 50 meters, but now it has become about 45 meters, which is much shorter and thinner. It's still damaged. In other words, you only need to kill it a few more times to kill it. While Lin Moyu was thinking, the strange creatures pounced on him again. The bone armor lit up again, it was torn into pieces again, and then quickly revived. Being torn apart again and again, resurrected again and again, constantly attacking, tirelessly. After 10 times, the laws that made up its body completely collapsed, and it never revived again. It has no thought, it just regards Lin Moyu as an enemy purely and wants to kill Lin Moyu. The result was the ruthless counterattack of the skeleton armor and the 4-star spell. The moment it died, a scream came into the soul world. Kill. Lin Moyu heard a roar full of killing intent, which gathered into a killing word and hit the soul world. The soul world remained motionless, easily blocking the killing intent. It really is obsession. Lin Moyu chuckled lightly. Taking obsession as the soul and laws as the body is the essence of weird creatures. It is exactly the same as Lin Moyu's previous judgment. But this is only one, and it is not certain whether other strange creatures are like this. Still need to try a few more times. When the strange creatures are really alive and dead, the watery light marked by the spirit stone also disappears. Gu Qingxuan came to Lin Moyu. How about 2.6? Lin Moyu smiled slightly. It's okay, I'll try it a few more times. Lin Moyu said and flew forward again. About 300 kilometers away, there was another strange creature. As before, Lin Moyu still uses himself as a human shield to conduct experiments. The appearance of this strange creature is different from the previous ones. It looks like a sharp arrow as a whole. Yes, it is a sharp arrow. The length is about 5 meters, with thin, long and sharp arrows, and there are feathers behind it for stability. It is faster and attacks like a sharp arrow. It's just that Lin Moyu is protected by bone armor, so it didn't escape the automatic counterattack of the linkage spell in the end. Without stopping, Lin Moyu went to the place of the third strange creature again. Gu Qingxuan silently followed behind without saying a word, and did not bother Lin Moyu. Gu Qingxuan looked for the spirit stone in the palm of her hand, and as she moved, the detection range of the spirit stone also changed. Seeking Lingxi is like a candle, moving to different places, it will illuminate different areas. One by one, the strange creatures were marked with flame marks. Lin Moyu conducted several experiments in a row, and finally knew the situation of the strange creatures. The weird creatures are actually not scary. Although it looks like there is a 4th-level true god, in fact, whether it is attack or defense, it is only comparable to the 3rd-level true god. Their speed is very fast, completely exceeding the limit of the true god realm. Like teleportation, it is difficult to dodge. At the same time, they can come back to life, and if you want to really kill them, you need to kill them at least 8 to 10 times. And when they really die, they will launch a soul attack. The soul attack is not considered powerful, and the soul of the 2nd grade can completely resist it, but it will be a little uncomfortable. The last point is that the appearance of the weird creatures is all kinds of strange, there is no definite number. Lin Moyu told Gu Qingxuan his conclusions about the weird creatures, and Gu Qingxuan said, "So, as long as you are not besieged by weird creatures, it is just a little troublesome to kill them, and the danger is not great." Lin Moyu hummed, "It can be said that, in fact, it's not too troublesome. By the way, this is for you." Lin Moyu handed several colorful beads to Gu Qingxuan. Pearl of Law, a polymer of various chaotic laws, from which tiny law crystals can be extracted, which can be used to assist in alchemy. After cleaning up the strange creatures, you can get the Orb of Law. The Pearl of Law is also a prop to complete this mission. Gu Qingxuan didn't expect that Lin Moyu would give her the Orb of Law. She didn't take it, but said, "You killed this, I can't take it." Lin Moyu shook his head with a smile. "You're welcome, there are so many of them." In the galaxy, weird creatures are everywhere, not to mention that Lin Moyu wants to clean up the weird creatures in the entire galaxy, and finally set up a Fosun formation on the stars. A few pearls of law are nothing at all. Seeing that Gu Qingxuan still refused to pick it up, Lin Moyu continued, "Take it for me." Seeing what Lin Moyu said, Gu Qingxuan accepted it. In fact, she also knew that Lin Moyu had good intentions, but she didn't make any effort, so she was embarrassed to take it. The two continued to search for strange creatures. Seeking Lingxi marks all the strange creatures within the range, so it is easy to find them. But if there is no spirit stone, it will be a lot of trouble. Lin Moyu tried to use his soul to sense, but he couldn't sense the existence of strange creatures. I don't know what method is used to find out the strange creatures hidden in the starry sky. Some weird creatures hide very deeply, and can only be seen with the naked eye if they get very close. Senior Sister Gu, do you know the principle of finding spirit stones? Lin Moyu asked. Gu Qingxuan shook her head. I'm not very clear, I only know that if you want to find strange creatures, you must use the spirit-seeking stone. And the spirit-seeking stone is only sold by the official human race, and no one knows how it is made. I heard from Master that the spirit-seeking stones seem to be related to some law, and all the spirit-seeking stones are refined from the City of God, and then supplied to the 4-star regions. Previously, Gu Qingxuan wanted to go to other people's stalls to see if there were any cheap spirit-seeking stones, but those spirit-seeking stones were actually left over from other people's missions. The human race can make it officially, and the method has not flowed out. Lin Moyu compares the spirit-seeking stone and the Orb of Law, and feels that the two seem to have some similarities. It's just a feeling, and Lin Moyu doesn't understand it at all. He has mastered 9 out of 10 senses in the method of refining weapons, and the rest is, not able to understand one. As the saying goes, don't watch if you don't understand it, don't think about it if you don't understand it. Lin Moyu won't worry about himself. But he also knew that even if the spirit-seeking stone could find out the strange creatures hidden in the starry sky, there must be other ways. Lin Moyu looked at the meteorite belt in front of him. According to the marks of the spirit-seeking stone, there were at least 5 strange creatures in the meteorite belt hundreds of kilometers ahead. Lin Moyu pointed there. Della spell, undead gaze. A gust of wind suddenly blew, and Gu Qingxuan instinctively shrank her neck. The wind from the undead world makes people feel cold. Not just cooling, but bone-chilling chill. The dark wind passed through, and an undead world appeared in the starry sky. Lin Moyu found that the world of the undead is more real than before. He seemed to be able to hear voices coming from the undead world. A huge eye opened in the undead world, and a raging flame burned in the eye. Silver-white flames burned in the eyes, illuminating the undead world. Its existence is equivalent to the stars in the undead world, bringing strange light to the undead world. Immediately afterwards, the eyes of the dead passed through the barriers of the world and came to the present world. Unlike the previous undead eyes, Lin Moyu is promoted to true god, and all spells are enhanced accordingly. The power of the big world rune curse temporarily recedes, so that all spell stars can carry the law. Not just the 1% rule, but the complete bearing rule. The fusion degree of spells has increased by 110%, entering a new level, and the power has been greatly improved. The eye of the undead that appeared at this time is no longer 100,000 meters long, but a full million meters long. 1 million meters, a full length of 1,000 kilometers, a large starry sky is under the gaze of the eyes of the dead. When it appeared, Gu Qingxuan was already stunned. How could it be so big? Gu Qingxuan covered her small mouth, unable to believe it. It was the first time for her to actually use Lin Moyu to cast spells, and she did not expect it to be like this. Lin Moyu has connected to the vision of the eyes of the dead at this time, and through the eyes of the dead, he sees a completely different world. There are not many colors in this world, only black, white and gray. The world is full of lines, and each line is a law. He saw that some of the lines were intertwined and knotted, forming some jumbled shapes. Moreover, there seems to be a faint soul fire beating in the center of these shapes. Obsession is the soul, and the law becomes the body. Without borrowing the spirit-seeking stone, he looked at the strange creatures. A smile appeared on the corner of Lin Moyu's mouth. Since the eyes of the undead can see, then the undead should also be able to see. With a heartbeat, a skeleton warrior appeared beside him. Lin Moyu saw the strange creature through the sight of the skeleton warrior. If you can see it, you can attack. The eyes of the undead moved slightly, and the soul attack landed on a strange creature silently. With a soft sound, the strange creature that didn't move at all suddenly exploded. The law collapsed, and the soul was annihilated, leaving only a fingernail-sized pearl of law. The eye of the undead directly obliterated its soul, not even giving it a chance to be resurrected. It's easy now. The smile on the corner of Lin Moyu's mouth grew stronger. Gu Qingxuan let out a soft gasp. The weird creature that was marked earlier, why is it gone? Lin Moyu smiled, killed by me. The eyes of the undead looked at other strange creatures in the meteorite belt, and one after another soul attacks came silently. The weird creatures exploded one after another, turning into pearls of law. The skeleton god warrior hurried over and took back the orb of law. Lin Moyu did not head towards the interior of the galaxy, but went around the galaxy, cleaning up the strange creatures in the meteorite belt. He has already made up his mind to clean up all the weird creatures in the entire galaxy, naturally starting from the outermost meteorite belt. Gu Qingxuan's expression was frozen at this time, and she followed behind Lin Moyu blankly. She didn't have to do anything, but there were more and more law beads in her hands, and there were hundreds in the blink of an eye. If this continues, the task will be completed in less than 2 days. Gu Qingxuan never thought that this task could be so easy. Originally, she thought that she would have to go through battles and hardships to complete the task. But now, that's not the case at all. She seems to have become Lin Moyu's little follower, and she only needs to help Lin Moyu collect the spoils. The spirit-seeking stone went out unknowingly, but it didn't affect Lin Moyu to continue cleaning. Under the eyes of the undead, strange creatures have nowhere to hide. Wave after wave of soul attacks, the strange creatures were quickly killed wherever they passed. Lin Moyu noticed Gu Qingxuan's expression. What's wrong? Gu Qingxuan's mood was extremely complicated at this time, and her eyes were also the same, with a trace of resentment. Ever since I reached the super god realm and received the first mission, I never thought that the mission could be so easy. Wouldn't it be better to take it easy? Lin Moyu asked strangely. Gu Qingxuan shook her head. It's not bad, it's just too relaxed. I'm afraid I'll let go. Her goal is the city of God, and she has never slackened since the beginning of her cultivation. It can be said that she is pressing herself step by step. Lin Moyu could see that, like herself, she never dared to relax once. But really tired. Lin Moyu remembered that when he was in the small world, he took Ning Yi to brush the book. Ning Yi's relaxed appearance, sitting on a stone, shaking her little feet, is really good. Lin Moyu said, do you want me to let a strange creature come over and let you beat it? Gu Qingxuan glared at Lin Moyu. That's not what I said. Of course Lin Moyu understands, don't push yourself too hard, sometimes you should relax and relax. The way of cultivation requires relaxation and restraint. I believe that Lord Shenjun must have told you Tilda. Gu Qingxuan nodded. Master has indeed said something similar. Lin Moyu shrugged his shoulders. Since that's the case, then learn to relax a bit. Don't do this mission, leave it to me. But Gu Qingxuan was still about to say something, when she suddenly saw Lin Moyu turned her head and looked towards the starry sky. Gu Qingxuan followed Lin Moyu's line of sight and looked over. Her expression changed drastically. I saw a person flying towards them in a panic, and behind him were densely packed, at least hundreds of strange creatures. The speed of the strange creature was very fast, and it continued to perform operations similar to teleportation, attacking him one after another. When he saw Lin Moyu and Gu Qingxuan, he suddenly shouted, "Help me." The voice fell, and a large number of strange creatures appeared around him. It was surrounded by strange creatures. The law roared, and the field of law opened up. Although the man was surrounded, he still fought back frantically. Finally, he broke a bloody path, but his body was already covered in bruises. Although the attack power of strange creatures is not strong, but there are many of them, they can also kill people. Gu Qingxuan's eyelids twitched, and her face was a little pale. What should I do? Lin Moyu understood what she meant, whether to save or not. No need to think about it, Lin Moyu has already done it. The eyes of the undead turned sharply, looking towards the man's position. To deal with strange creatures, the eyes of the dead are a big killer. Under its gaze, the strange creatures exploded one after another. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of strange creatures have turned into hundreds of law beads, and none of them survived. The man escaped from birth, and the panic in his eyes was still there. He came to Lin Moyu and saluted Lin Moyu and Gu Qingxuan. Thank you, brother and sister, for your help. His name is Ji Yu, the fourth rank of true god. It is not an exaggeration to call them junior brother and junior sister. Gu Qingxuan asked, Brother Ji, why are you surrounded by strange creatures? There was a trace of sadness in Ji Yu's eyes. My partner and I met a strange creature of the fifth level of the true god, and we were fighting it. When we wanted to kill it, it called many strange creatures. Lin Moyu was slightly taken aback. Strange creatures will call for reinforcements. Ji Yu said, I didn't know before that the strange creature would call for reinforcements, but it really did so. A large number of strange creatures scattered me and my companions, and I escaped all the way under the pursuit of the strange creatures. Quote, Fortunately, I met junior brother Lin and junior sister Gu, otherwise I might not be able to escape. In fact, it is not far from beyond the galaxy. As long as you pass through the meteorite belt, you can escape, and the weird creatures will not leave the galaxy. So what Ji Yu said was a bit exaggerated. Lin Moyu could see that although he looked seriously injured, it was actually a skin trauma and it didn't matter. As long as the soul is not injured, it is nothing to the practitioner. Lin Moyu asked, Where's your companion? Ji Yu said, In order to save me, she attracted most of the strange creatures, including the strange creature in the real god realm, so it may be more or less auspicious. When he said this, tears flashed in Ji Yu's eyes, very sad. But in Lin Moyu's eyes, he felt a little fake, thinking that Ji Yu had something to do with acting. Obviously, this matter is not as simple as he said. Ji Yu said to the two of them, Junior brother Lin, junior sister Gu, can you go and find my companions, maybe they can be saved. Quote, Okay. Lin Moyu agreed directly. Quote, While talking, Lin Moyu winked at Gu Qingxuan, signaling her to go with him. Gu Qingxuan understood, okay, let's look for it, in case there is still time to save it. Ji Yu quickly said, let me lead the way. Lin Moyu nodded, okay. Before sending it out, Ji Yu looked up at the eyes of the dead in the sky. It was this thing just now, which wiped out hundreds of strange creatures all at once. This thing seems a bit strong. He glanced at Lin Moyu quietly, I don't know if it's a spell or some kind of treasure, it's really powerful. If it's a treasure, if it can belong to me. Ji Yu thought in his heart, and the breath on his body also had a slight fluctuation. A few flew towards the interior of the galaxy, and Ji Yu led them along the way they came. In fact, even if he doesn't lead the way, Lin Moyu can still find the right direction. In this chaotic and broken galaxy, Ji Yu galloped all the way, leaving behind a clear breath of law. As long as you follow this breath to find the past, you won't make a mistake. Lin Moyu sent a voice transmission to Gu Qingxuan, senior sister Gu, you will stand behind me for a while, I feel something is wrong with this guy. Gu Qingxuan hummed, and also said via voice transmission, how did junior brother Lin see it? Lin Moyu said in a low voice, one is that he actually changed direction just now, from the direction he came from, there is obviously a shorter way to escape, but he just wanted to come towards us. Secondly, when he spoke, his eyes flickered, obviously there was something wrong. Also, he just suffered a little skin trauma, and there is no serious problem at all. Lin Moyu said a few words, which were not observed by Gu Qingxuan. Gu Qingxuan simply thought that there was something wrong with Ji Yu, not as detailed as Lin Moyu thought. Gu Qingxuan asked, since this is the case, why did junior brother Lin agree to save people? I want to see what medicine is buried in his gourd, and add some seasoning to the mission. Lin Moyu's words made Gu Qingxuan amused, what does it mean to add some seasoning to the mission? But think about it, this task is too easy for Lin Moyu. Not only Gu Qingxuan didn't make a move, even Lin Moyu didn't move much. It was that huge eye, like cutting tofu, it patted the strange creatures into pieces. Even the hundreds of strange creatures that chased and killed Ji Yu just now were wiped out in an instant. They never encountered any strange creatures along the way, and after flying millions of kilometers, they finally arrived at their destination. The chaotic atmosphere inside the galaxy is more serious than outside, and there are obsessions everywhere. Obsessions are not weird creatures, but they will also attack. Anyone who enters their territory is considered an intruder. Here, 2 bodies are floating there. The 2 bodies were a man and a woman. The corpse was covered with scars, and the wound exuded a chaotic atmosphere of law. It really looked like it had been killed by a strange creature. Lin Moyu had seen the corpses a long time ago, and he was very sure that these 2 corpses were indeed killed by strange creatures. Moreover, there was a huge gap in the time of death between the 2 corpses. The male body had been dead for a long time, estimated to be several months old. Another female body of 683 died not long ago, and the time of death was within the last day. Seeing the corpse, Ji Yu's eyes suddenly showed deep sadness, and immediately flew over to the corpse. His whole body was trembling, and his mouth was crying loudly, "Junior sister Shi, junior sister Shi." It sounded like Ji Yu was extremely sad and sincere. But Lin Moyu always felt that he had acting elements in it, and he acted a little too much. Lin Moyu glanced around. There are no weird creatures here, how did you provoke them, and why are there 2 corpses here? Ji Yu wiped his tears. I don't know who the other corpse is, it was already there when we got here. Our human race pays attention to returning fallen leaves to their roots, so junior sister Shi and I wanted to bring him back. But when we approached it, a strange creature of the 5th level of the true god suddenly appeared. Junior sister Shi and I fought against it, but it suddenly summoned many strange creatures. To cover me, junior sister Shi. Speaking here, Ji Yu cried out again, looking very sad. Lin Moyu and Gu Qingxuan looked at each other with a hint of disbelief in their eyes. Gu Qingxuan also felt that something was wrong. Ji Yu cried a little fake, although there were tears, it didn't look like she was really sad. Many of his actions are put on, full of deliberation. Lin Moyu's eyes moved slightly, the situation at that time was dangerous. Ji Yu hummed, it's very dangerous, there are too many strange creatures, and their speed is too fast, they scattered us almost instantly. Lin Moyu sighed, you and your junior sister Shi must have a good relationship. Ji Yu nodded vigorously, junior sister Shi and I have agreed to form a Taoist couple. We are the most important people in each other's hearts, and we can give our lives for it. Lin Moyu sighed again, it's really painful for people who love each other but can't stay together. It's really sad that they didn't even apologize at the last moment of parting. As if to comply with Lin Moyu's words, Ji Yu's sobs became heavier. Gu Qingxuan looked at Lin Moyu curiously, wondering why he said that. But she didn't say anything, since Lin Moyu said so, he must have his reason. At this time, Ji Yu looked at another corpse in the distance, it's all because of him, if we didn't want to take him back, junior sister Shi and I wouldn't be in this situation. Gu Qingxuan also looked at the other male corpse, looking at it from the outside, there was nothing wrong with it. Lin Moyu also took a look, and immediately looked away, you and your sister Shi didn't even have time to say goodbye, this kind of thing is too tragic, you must have a lot to say to her, and she must have a lot to say tell you. Ji Yu had tears in his eyes, what's the use of saying this now, of course I have more to say, but no matter how much I say now, junior sister Shi won't be able to hear it. Lin Moyu smiled slightly, it's okay, I'll give you this chance and say goodbye at the end. As he spoke, Lin Moyu pointed out a ball of flames and landed on the body of junior sister Shi. ACAC. The flames were raging, quickly covering the corpse. Stellar spell, raise the dead. Resurrection of the dead, fusion 110%, use the corpse or soul as the medium to revive the target within a certain period of time. The resurrected person will have the strength of the peak period of life, retain the memory of life, and receive bonuses from spells and talents. The master has absolute control over the resurrected, and can manipulate the thoughts and behaviors of the resurrected at will. The longest existence time of the resurrected is determined by the master's soul level. Ji Yu suddenly turned his head to look at Lin Moyu, and shouted angrily, what are you doing? Gu Qingxuan was even more puzzled at this time, what Lin Moyu was going to do. Lin Moyu smiled, I'll give you a chance to talk to each other. At this time, Gu Qingxuan also saw something was wrong, the flame that Lin Moyu popped up was not an ordinary flame. The silvery white flame has no temperature, but it makes the temperature drop a lot, making it even colder. Accompanied by the chill, the silver white flames disappeared rapidly, all got into the body of the house. The corpse of junior sister Shi suddenly opened its eyes and looked straight at Ji Yu. In her eyes, Lin Moyu saw hatred. Ji Yu. Junior sister Shi spat out 2 words, full of hatred. It's not like what Ji said at all. The two love each other so much that they can even die for each other. Ji took a few steps back in shock and yelled, "What's going on? What's going on?" Lin Moyu still smiled. "Didn't I say it? Let you tell each other your heart. If you have anything to say, just say it, don't worry about me." Wow. The cold light lit up, and a sharp sword appeared in junior sister Zai's hand. Immediately afterwards, the domain law appeared, covering a radius of hundreds of miles. Lin Moyu pulled Gu Qingxuan back quickly, away from right and wrong. In junior sister Zai's law domain, a raging flame was burning, and the flames shot up to the sky. Wherever the field of law went, the starry sky turned into lava, and the flames began to burn Ji. Ji uttered a strange cry, and also propped up the domain of laws, and at the same time shouted loudly, "Junior sister Shi, listen to my explanation, listen to my explanation." Junior sister Shi obviously didn't intend to go, and without saying a word, she had already launched an attack. Ji was beaten until he ran away with his head in his arms, and Jian Fen was in a panic. Gu Qingxuan asked softly, "What's going on? Isn't she dead?" Lin Moyu said, "I have a spell that can temporarily bring the dead back to life, but the time is limited." Gu Qingxuan's eyes lit up. "Is there such a magical technique?" Lin Moyu nodded. "Don't you think this junior sister Shi looks a bit like that person?" Gu Qingxuan looked at the other corpse, which indeed looked somewhat similar to junior sister Shi. Gu Qingxuan's head turned quickly. "You mean, they are relatives?" Lin Moyu smiled slightly. "Just ask." As he spoke, another group of silvery white flames flew out and landed on the corpse. Gu Qingxuan asked in surprise, "Can those who have been dead for so long be resurrected?" "Can. How long has it been dead? Even if it is dead for thousands of years, even if only the wreckage is left, it can be resurrected." In the flames, the corpse opened its eyes and saw junior sister Shi and Ji. "Chaoyan." The man's voice was full of tenderness. "Elder brother." Junior sister Shi responded immediately, looking at the man with surprise on her face. At this time, the flames shot up into the sky, and Ji flew out of the flames. Seeing the man, Ji uttered a strange cry, and fled into the distance as if he was dying. The man snorted coldly, with anger in his voice, "Ji, die." The man chased after him instantly, much faster than Ji. There is no doubt that the aura of the fifth level of the true god is displayed. Lin Moyu knew that if a man was a fifth-level true god before his death, he would only become stronger after being resurrected by him. With the addition of spells and talents, the man's real combat power has definitely reached the sixth level of the true god. The same is true for junior sister Shi. Her real combat strength may have reached the fifth level of true god. So just now, he was able to beat Ji, who was at the fourth level of the true god, and he was beaten so hard that Ji had no power to fight back. The man chased after him, and junior sister Shi also chased after him, and a big battle broke out in the starry sky. Gu Qingxuan murmured, "They really are brother and sister, but what's going on?" Lin Moyu looked at the starry sky. "Don't worry, you'll find out after asking." "Ask." Gu Qingxuan was a little confused. Lin Moyu didn't answer, but looked at something in the starry sky. Not far from the man's body, less than 1,000 kilometers away, there is a huge broken star. Half of the broken star is circular, with a diameter of more than 5,000 kilometers. It should be a huge fragment left after a certain star was shattered. Lin Moyu felt an unusual aura from this broken star. He is not in a hurry, maybe he will know the reason soon. Sure enough, after waiting for a while, the battle in the starry sky came to an end, and the two siblings flew back from the starry sky. In their hands, they also carried a corpse, Jiyu's corpse. Shi Cheng, Shi Yin, worship the master. The two saluted Lin Moyu at the same time. The elder brother is called Shi Cheng, the fifth rank of true god. The younger sister is called Shi Yin, the fourth rank of true god. Gu Qingxuan was surprised again. Why do they call you master? Lin Moyu said, it's also related to the technique. Although my technique can temporarily revive others, the resurrected person will become my subordinate. Of course, it is also temporary. When the time comes, the resurrected people will be wiped out. Gu Qingxuan asked, how long is the resurrection? According to my current strength, it can last about 50 days. With the improvement of Lin Moyu's strength, the time that the resurrection can exist is getting longer and longer, and it has reached 50 days now. During these 50 days, the resurrected will have stronger combat power than at the peak of their lifetime. It's a pity that it can't exist forever, otherwise Lin Moyu will find a way to get the wreckage of a strong man, even a strand of hair can be enough, and it can become his own amulet killer. Lin Moyu looked at the two brothers and sisters Shi Cheng and Shi Yin. Let's go. The two siblings looked at each other and bowed respectfully to Lin Moyu. Thank you, master. After speaking, the two got up and left. Gu Qingxuan asked strangely, don't you want to find out the truth of the matter? Lin Moyu pointed to Ji Yu's body, just ask him. A ball of fire popped out, and Ji Yu was revived in the flames. The wounds on his body disappeared quickly and he recovered as before. When he opened his eyes and saw Lin Moyu, he knelt in front of Lin Moyu with respect in his eyes. Ji Yu greets the master. Lin Moyu hummed, clarify the cause and process of the matter clearly, and don't miss anything. Obey. After becoming a resurrected Ji Yu, only Lin Moyu's orders will be obeyed, and there will be no resistance. Soon, Ji Wook spells out the whole thing. A few months ago, he and Shi Cheng came here to carry out the task of cleaning up strange creatures. Inadvertently found a broken star, and a law god flower was born in the broken star. It's just that this law god flower is guarded by strange creatures, and there are quite a few of them. Several of them are strange creatures of the 5th level of the true god. The two provoked strange creatures and were surrounded by groups. Ji Yu sold Shi Cheng and escaped. Shi Cheng was trapped there to death, but Shi Cheng also killed many strange creatures before his death. This gave Ji Wu hope. So in the past few months, Ji Yu has been repeatedly going to the broken star to test, and killed many strange creatures. But there is still a long way to go before obtaining the law god flower. Ji Yu didn't dare to make too much noise, and was very careful all the time. Later, Shi Yin found him and asked his brother Shi Cheng's whereabouts. Ji Yu simply brought Shi Yin here, and then designed to kill her. However, Shi Yin did not die in vain. When Ji Yu was about to escape, Shi Yin smashed his aircraft. Without the aircraft, Ji Yu was hunted down by strange creatures all the way until he met Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu's decisive method of killing the strange spirit moved him. He wanted to use Lin Moyu's hand to destroy the strange creatures on the broken star and get the magic flower of law. 0, asking for flowers. That's how the whole thing went. Because the deaths of the two brothers and sisters Shi Cheng and Shi Yin were not caused by Ji Yu, so even the Renwang network cannot be held accountable to him. After Gu Qingxuan finished listening, she couldn't help cursing, shameless, despicable. Lin Moyu waved his hand, let's go to meet your law god flower. Following Lin Moyu's order, Ji Yu turned around without hesitation and rushed towards the broken star with the law god flower. It was the broken star that Lin Moyu felt was unusual before. Ji Yu rushed into the broken star, and a huge aura suddenly rose from the broken star. Gu Qingxuan's face changed slightly. There are at least 1,000 strange creatures. Lin Moyu smiled. Being able to give birth to the law god flower will naturally attract a lot of strange creatures. The law god flower is a very magical flower. It is not a real flower, but a flower made of laws. It can be regarded as the embodiment of the law, which is extremely precious. Using it to comprehend the law is even better than the effect of the law and stars. Of course, it's rare, very rare. Did not expect to be found here by Ji Yu. It's just that even Ji Yu doesn't know what kind of law is contained in the law god flower in Broken Star. There are many types of law god flowers, and law god flowers that contain different laws have very different values. If there is a law god flower that possesses the laws of the first echelon, its value may be incalculable. This kind of flower has only appeared in legends, never in reality. After Ji Yu charged into Broken Star, his aura disappeared in just 10 minutes. Lin Moyu said lightly, Ji Yu is dead. The strange creatures in Broken Star are stronger than expected, and there are many of them. After becoming a resurrected person, Ji Yu's combat power definitely surpassed the 4th level of the true god, at least at the level of the 5th level of the true god. That's it, and he died so happily, which is enough to show that Broken Star is very dangerous. Gu Qingxuan worried, then what should we do? How about we go back first, and I can find Master? Lin Moyu chuckled, quantity means nothing to me. Gu Qingxuan didn't understand the meaning of Lin Moyu's words, but the next moment, she understood. Countless skeletons appeared beside Lin Moyu, like an army, rushing towards Broken Star. The undead army appeared, magnificent. No matter how many strange creatures there are in the Broken Star, can it be more than the army of undead? Lin Moyu just dispatched 100,000 undead army, which is enough to level Gu Qingxuan watched helplessly as the 100,000 undead army rushed into Broken Star aggressively. An astonishing aura rose from the Broken Star, instantly dragging the battle into a fierce stage. Come on, let's go take a look. Lin Moyu flew forward, but Gu Qingxuan did not move a step. It took a full 2 seconds before she realized it, and hurriedly followed. Are all these skeletons your spell? Lin Moyu said, well, it's all my spells. How can you summon so many skeletons, and each one is very powerful? It's okay, this is only part of it. Lin Moyu's words surprised Gu Qingxuan again. This is only part of it, showing that Lin Moyu can summon more. How would she know that this is only a small part, a very small part? Skeleton God Warrior, Skeleton God Mage, and Skeleton Soul Shooter can all summon 1 million, and every 10 combat powers have reached the 5th level of True God. 643, Lich General and Death Knight can summon 500,000 each, and 200,000 Skeleton Dragon. Among them, the strength of Death Knight and Skeleton Dragon has reached the 6th level of True God. Among them, the Skeleton Dragon is more powerful, reaching the level of the 6th order peak of the True God. This kind of combat power is enough to sweep this galaxy. If you encounter stronger enemies, discard these basic undead legions and use fusion techniques instead. It can summon 100,000 Death Dragon Knights and 1 million Skeleton Gods. The Death Dragon Knight can be compared to the 7th rank of the True God, and the Skeleton God will be comparable to the 8th rank of the True God. Lin Moyu is very aware of his own strength, and he is basically invincible in the real God realm. Unless he hits the peak of the True God, he is enough to walk sideways in the True God realm. In addition, he can also summon 10 elemental liches, as well as a 1 million level resurrection of the dead. It's just that there are still restrictions. The elemental lich needs good materials, but Lin Moyu couldn't find them. He has a little disdain for some super god level materials. Even if the elemental lich is fed up, its effect is limited. As for the resurrection of the dead, it requires a large number of corpses, which can be done occasionally. Gu Qingxuan found that she couldn't understand Lin Moyu at all. This genius who was introduced by himself is a bit too much of a genius. The shock I brought to myself along the way was more than the sum of my whole life. Gu Qingxuan felt that this world was a little strange, and she couldn't understand it. Is an existence like Lin Moyu really reasonable? If Lin Moyu is called a genius, then what is he? I feel that I am not as good as an ordinary person. Looking at the crowds of murderous skeletons rushing past, Gu Qingxuan felt that she couldn't beat any of them. Each skeleton can kill itself. Gu Qingxuan asked softly, how powerful is your skeleton? Lin Moyu said, these 3 are about the same as the 5th level of the True God. These 3. Gu Qingxuan was surprised. You mean, you have other skeletons? Lin Moyu nodded, there are a few more, I'll show you when I have a chance. Oh. Gu Qingxuan looked at Lin Moyu speechlessly. She was very curious about Lin Moyu, and really wanted to find out what kind of person Lin Moyu was. I just feel that Lin Moyu is full of mystery. She didn't know that her own idea was very dangerous. The two flew into Broken Star, following the footsteps of the undead army. Beads of lore can be seen everywhere, scattered on the ground. The strange creatures that are not even as good as the 4th level of the True Gods can completely block the progress of the undead army. The undead army pushed horizontally all the way, heading towards the center of the Broken Star. Lin Moyu felt the energy transmitted from Broken Star, felt the breath of Broken Star, and said to himself, so that's how it is. Gu Qingxuan is a little curious, isn't she? Lin Moyu said, the star was shattered, but its core remained basically intact. After the Great War, it continuously absorbed the power from the stars. Originally, these powers should be used to maintain the stars, but now the stars are broken, and the power has nowhere to go. It accepts the will from the stars again, and wants to sort out the laws and restore them. That's why the Law God Flower was born. Listening to what Lin Moyu said, Gu Qingxuan half understands. Is this all your guess? Lin Moyu shook his head and smiled. Part of the analysis, part of the guess, maybe not all right, but the difference should not be too much. If I'm not mistaken, this divine law flower should contain multiple laws. Lin Moyu made an analysis based on the information he had read. He is no longer ignorant of the big world. After reading the information of Level 4 authority, he already has some understanding of the big world. Many things can also be analyzed and guessed to get some answers. Maybe not accurate enough, but not too much. Lin Moyu began to gradually understand the operating logic of the big world. This is his favorite thing to do, to get to the bottom of everything. Only when you understand it from the bottom, can you truly understand. Not only do you need to know how to use it, but also why you should use it. Gu Qingxuan still doesn't understand, her soul is not as good as Lin Moyu's, and she can't feel the subtleties that Lin Moyu can feel. She also doesn't have Lin Moyu's analytical skills. But she thinks Lin Moyu's words are very reasonable, since she doesn't understand, she should listen obediently. The atmosphere of fighting ahead is getting stronger and stronger, and the battle is still going on. The corners of Lin Moyu's mouth slightly raised. Not only did she give birth to the Law God Flower, but she also gave birth to a big guy. Gu Qingxuan tilted her head, expressing that she didn't understand. Now her task is to collect the orbs of law scattered on the road. In this journey, there are more than 1,000 law beads in his hand. 2 tasks, one of which has been completed. After advancing a certain distance, Gu Qing finally felt the big guy that Lin Moyu said. A huge aura rushed towards him, blowing Gu Qingxuan's hair like a gust of wind. The breath carries a strong law, and the law contains scorching heat, and the temperature rises sharply. Immediately afterwards, Gu Qingxuan saw a big sun, as if the sun was hanging high in the sky. Is this a star? Gu Qingxuan wondered if she was wrong. How could she see a star in the broken star? Lin Moyu laughed. It's not a star, but a strange creature. The core of the broken star has grown 2 things over the years. 11. One is the Law God Flower, and the other is it. Because most of the received power comes from stars, it becomes like stars. It accepted some obsessions from the starry sky, devoured some other strange creatures, and finally turned into a more powerful strange creature. Its birth is full of magic. The world is really wonderful. At the end of the dead silence, life will also be born. Having said that, Lin Moyu suddenly paused. The dead end breeds new life, which is very similar to his own law of immortality. Lin Moyu feels that his comprehension of the law of undead has increased again. He has just increased to 10% of the law of undead, and it seems to have increased a little, and it should reach 11%. True God Realm, every step up, the law improves by 2%. As long as he advances 1 step further, he can ascend to the 2nd level of Shenzhen. Gu Qingxuan also felt Lin Moyu's changes. Knowing that he had realized something, her eyes showed envy. This kind of genius is really beyond comparison. You can understand it by just walking around, which is too annoying. Skeletons are battling this strange star-like creature. It is very strong. According to Lin Moyu's estimate, its combat power has reached the 7th level of the true god. The skeletons are not opponents, they can only rely on the numerical advantage to besiege it. Gu Qingxuan looked around, but did not see the divine flower of law. She couldn't help but wondered, without the divine flower of law, could it be that Jiyu is talking nonsense? There. Lin Moyu pointed to the strange creatures in the stars. Gu Qingxuan looked as far as she could, and vaguely saw that inside its body, it looked like a flower. It actually carried the Law God Flower with it, no wonder it couldn't find it. Lin Moyu said, it is conceived from the same core as the Law God Flower, and both have the same root and origin, so with the Law God Flower, its power will be stronger. At this time, the strange creature exploded, and countless flames erupted, and the skeleton that was besieging it burst into flames, and was quickly burned to dry bones. In this attack, at least half of the skeletons were burned to death. Gu Qingxuan couldn't help but groaned, a lot of yours were burned to death. Lin Moyu wasn't worried at all. It's okay, they can't die easily. After the words fell, these skeletons who had just been burned to death stood up intact and joined the battle group again. With O2 Undead Spirit, passive technique, it is not so easy to kill skeletons. Lin Moyu was not interested in entanglement with it, so he tapped his finger lightly, and a gust of wind blew. Gu Qingxuan immediately heard dozens of loud dragon chants, and then she saw dozens of huge skeletal dragons flying out. On top of the skeletal dragons, there was a bone knight. Death Dragon Knight kills out and joins the battle group. They are covered by the grey-white undead law, and with the flaming undead flames, they look majestic. Since spells can carry laws, the power of spells has increased dramatically. The Death Dragon Knight has the combat power of the 7th level True God, and it is better than the ordinary 7th level True God. Lin Moyu didn't use the Skeleton General, only the Death Dragon Knight was enough. The dragon's breath sprayed, and the starry sky was immediately enveloped by the dragon's breath. The light of stars and strange creatures is blocked by the dragon's breath, and the fire breath carries the law of immortality, corroding it like maggots attached to bones. The Death Dragon Knight swooped down, swung his long sword and slashed at the strange creature. The giant skeleton dragon opened its mouth and forcibly pulled a piece of flesh. Weird has no flesh and blood, and what is torn off is only the lore. Under the siege of Death Dragon Knight, Xingwei was killed in a blink of an eye. When it died, the divine flower of lore appeared, exuding a strange aura. This breath quickly spread throughout the entire galaxy at a speed exceeding the speed of light. Lin Moyu and Gu Qingxuan were not the only ones in the galaxy, and this aura immediately attracted the attention of others. Gu Qingxuan whispered, maybe it will attract others. Lin Moyu didn't care, it's okay, they can't come in. With a heartbeat, a large number of undead core rushed out, quickly surrounded Broken Star, and no one could come in. The divine law of lore shone with light, bringing the bodies of the strange creatures of the stars together again. The scorching light reappeared, and the stars were reborn strangely and quickly, re-enveloping the Law God flower. Lin Moyu sighed, why bother, you have no chance, why don't you die early and reincarnate early, and suffer less? Gu Qingxuan laughed out loud, she didn't expect Lin Moyu to have such a humorous side. Under the siege of the Death Dragon Knights, the strange creatures of the star that had just been resurrected were torn to pieces again. Again and again, dead and alive, alive and dead. If it didn't have intelligence, only instinct, it would probably be crazy. Because of the Law God flower, his weakening speed has been far slower than other strange life and death. But it is still getting weaker and weaker, and dying faster and faster. Finally, after the 16th death, it never came back to life again. All the light dissipated, and the Law God flower finally revealed its true colors. 5 petals bloom in a spiral shape, forming a miraculous flower. The color of each petal is different, representing a law. Lin Moyu's pop-up detection technique fell on the Law God flower. Law God flower, a pure collection of laws, born and raised, extremely rare. It can be used to comprehend the law, refine tools, refine alchemy, and improve cultivation. The Law God flower is a mystical thing with a very powerful effect. Every leaf on it is the embodiment of law, extremely pure. For countless years, the core of the Broken Star absorbed the power of the stars, sorted out some chaotic laws in the galaxy, and finally gave birth to this flower of law. Lin Moyu can feel that every leaf of the Law God flower reaches the 7th level of true God. Gu Qingxuan stared wide-eyed and exclaimed, this is the divine flower of law. I heard from Master that the divine flower of law is a rare fetish. If you take its petals directly, you can directly comprehend the corresponding law. If you use it if the laws are in line with each other, you can improve your cultivation, deepen your comprehension of the laws, and even improve your soul's cultivation. This flower is the flower of the gods, which contains the 5 laws of fire, water, wind, light, and starlight. Gu Qingxuan is always a disciple of the gods, and he recognized these laws immediately. She murmured, this Law God flower is worth a lot of money, what are you going to do with it? Lin Moyu looked at Gu Qingxuan, do you want it? Shaking his head, I don't comprehend these laws, use them for me. And this is what you got, it's your thing. Lin Moyu said, then I'm not welcome, this thing is useful to me. Gu Qingxuan was very generous, you are welcome, I have already taken advantage of you. She was referring to this task, she was able to complete the task so easily, thanks to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu had indeed thought about the use of the divine law flower, and he didn't show politeness to Gu Qingxuan, and went directly to grab the divine law flower. The divine flower of law rejected Lin Moyu, it glowed all over and exuded the power of law to resist. But Lin Moyu completely ignored its resistance and grabbed it. Caught by Lin Moyu, it still didn't accept its fate and kept trembling. 713 in the starry sky, a huge phantom of a divine flower appeared. The aura released by the Law God flower just now has attracted the attention of many people, and some people have already rushed here. Seeing the projection of the Law God flower now, everyone shouted in shock, it's the Law God flower. Heaven, there will be a Law God flower here, hurry up. The divine flower of law is a spiritual object of heaven and earth, and it is many times more precious than ordinary treasures. 5 leaves, 5 laws, the value of this divine flower is hard to estimate. A group of people frantically rushed towards Broken Star, everyone was extremely excited. But when they came to Broken Star, they saw the undead army lined up and ready to go. The undead army was murderous and stood in front of them. As long as they dare to pass, the undead army will definitely wave their weapons unceremoniously. Every skeleton of the undead army exudes the breath of the 5th level true god, and the people who come here are only the 4th level and 5th level true gods. Hundreds of people, facing the 100,000 undead army, have no chance to fight. They saw Lin Moyu through the starry sky, and they saw Lin Moyu holding the Law God flower. And Lin Moyu's level is only the 1st level of true god. Boy, put down the divine flower. Shenhua is not something you can get, put it down quickly. A little boy of the 1st level of a true god, what qualifications does he have to get the god flower? Don't let it go. The voice of the soul rang non-stop in the starry sky. Lin Moyu snorted coldly, come in if you have the guts, if you don't have the guts, stop screaming. Lin Moyu's words once again aroused dissatisfaction among the crowd, who scolded them one after another. Boy, be bold. Thinky boy, don't think you can bluff because you have these skeletons. Only the 1st level of a true god dares to be so presumptuous, how courageous. At this moment, Lin Moyu held the divine law flower in his hand, and the power of his soul rolled away, suppressing the divine law flower, obliterating its sense of resistance. At the same time, he separated a trace of his mind, his eyes were stern, and he swept towards the people outside the broken star like a thunderbolt. You can try to break through, but think about the consequences. According to the rules of the human race, your cultivation is higher than mine. If you attack me, I can fight back infinitely. Lin Moyu's words made one's heart tremble, and his voice was full of murderous intent. That meaning seems to be telling them that you go ahead and live and die at your own risk. Lin Moyu's strength made people who were already eager to try hesitate again. There is a rule in the human race that you can't do anything to your own people, especially those with high cultivation, and you can't do anything to people with low cultivation. Once a strike is made, a person with a low cultivation level can fight back without restriction. Similar things have happened many times in the history of the human race. People who really have high cultivation bases are counterattacked, but they still die in vain. Now those people outside are a little bit hard to get off. It's not good to get in, it's not good to not get in. Seeing that the Law God flower is gradually being suppressed by Lin Moyu, and the treasure is about to be missed, everyone is a little anxious. There was a smile in Gu Qingxuan's eyes. She didn't expect Lin Moyu to have such a strong side. On weekdays, Lin Moyu gives her the impression that she is gentle and courteous. It's very different from what it looks like now. This made Gu Qingxuan even more curious about what kind of person Lin Moyu is. The feeling of wanting to find out is like having a kitten, scratching and scratching in my heart all the time. Seeing that the resistance of the Law God flower is getting weaker and weaker, the phantom of the Law God flower in the starry sky is disappearing. Lin Moyu's refinement has also come to an end. Finally, someone couldn't help it, and a cultivator of the 4th level of the true God rushed over. The field of laws opened, and countless golden boulders appeared in the field, surrounding him. He hit Lin Moyu like a meteor shower. The golden stone rule. Gu Qingxuan saw this person's law at a glance, and immediately said, it's a variant of the law of stone, and the law of gold and stone has extremely strong defense. Lin Moyu smiled, no problem. In the starry sky, everyone also looked at it. They all know that the golden stone rule has a strong defensive power, and they want to see how Lin Moyu will respond. If these skeletons were really just bluffing and showing off, then they would not hesitate to do it. The realm of the law of gold and stone is like a meteor hitting a skeleton from outside the sky. Several skeletons were knocked back. According to the rules of Renwang Network, he had already taken the lead. Immediately afterwards, he was greeted with a stormy counterattack from the skeletons. The giant axe in the hands of the skeleton god warrior lit up, and swung out waves of law power, bombarding his law field. The skeleton god mage also launched a series of attacks, exploding in the field of law. The golden stone law field, known for its defensive power, was instantly shattered. The skeleton sharpshooter shoots the arrow of the soul at this moment, attacking the soul. With the sound of screams, his law field collapsed instantly, and his soul was attacked, which made him feel miserable. On his body, a piece of jade pendant exploded, and he instantly appeared in the starry sky thousands of miles away. There was panic in his eyes. He didn't expect these skeleton attacks to be so powerful. If it wasn't for the jade pendant to teleport him thousands of miles just now, he would probably have died. With surprise in everyone's eyes, these skeletons are really so powerful. Some people are lucky. Fortunately, they didn't do it themselves. Lin Moyu snorted coldly, with disdain in his eyes, and slowly swept across the crowd. Is there anyone else who wants to do something? Lin Moyu's aura rose with his words, leaving Broken Star and rolling away in the starry sky. His posture is clearly provocative. A little guy who obviously only has the first level of true gods, but he is despising the existence of a large group of fourth level and even fifth level true gods. It has to be said that the courage is really great. Gu Qingxuan's eyes were shining. She felt the confidence from Lin Moyu. Confidence comes from strength. She knew very well how strong Lin Moyu was, and his actual combat power definitely surpassed the 7th rank of a true god. Even if these people outside are tied together, they are not as good as Lin Moyu. The people around Broken Star clearly felt the contempt from Lin Moyu. They were very angry, but they had nothing to do with Lin Moyu. There are precedents, they know that they can't rush through. The skeletons are very strong and there are a lot of them, so they are not opponents at all. This kid is really crazy. Where did he get the confidence to rely on this group of skeletons? Could it be that his identity is extraordinary, otherwise how could he have so many puppets? 100,000 puppets, and all of them are 5th level true gods, like an army. I really can't think of his identity. They recognized the undead army as puppets, and never thought that this was Lin Moyu's spell. In the big world, there are also many families who are good at making puppets, not to mention the puppets of the real gods, even the puppets of the gods. But such a huge number of puppets in the real god realm really exceeded their imagination. Lin Moyu knew that these guys didn't dare to come again, so he simply ignored them. At this time, the final step of refining the Law God flower was reached. He gave a soft drink, the soul body opened its eyes, an array of light containing huge soul power shot out, and landed on the Law God flower. The phantom of the Law God flower burst like a bubble. Lin Moyu successfully refined it, and the Law God King has become his property. Everyone was very disappointed and sighed, backquote, let's go, let's go. Quote, the human race has the rules of the human race. Once the treasure is owned, it may be robbed again. When there is no owner, everyone can fight, but when there is an owner, there is no more fighting. As for killing people and stealing goods, unless you have a way to avoid the surveillance of Renwang network. Or just like what GU did before, with the help of foreign calendars. But such opportunities are too few. The crowd dispersed, and the starry sky became quiet again. Lin Moyu did not withdraw the undead army, and the undead army still guarded the Broken Star. For him, it's not over yet. Gu Qingxuan asked, the divine flower of law, are you planning to sell it or comprehend it yourself? Lin Moyu said softly, for me, it has other uses. Lin Moyu reached out and picked off a leaf. It was a fiery red leaf that looked like a raging flame. On the blades, clusters of flames danced, and each flame had a different posture, representing different properties of the flame. It is the embodiment of the law of fire, which contains the mystery of the law of fire. You can use your soul to sense, and use it to comprehend the law of fire. Or let someone who has mastered the law of fire directly swallow it, which can also strengthen his own law. It can also be incorporated into magic weapons or elixirs. But for Lin Moyu, he has a better way to deal with Xin. Beside him, the firelight danced, and the flame lich appeared beside Lin Moyu. Since entering the big world, except for the undead demons, the few monsters seem to have been sent to the cold camp. They are too weak and have no qualifications to play. But Lin Moyu knew that the spells were definitely not weak, the only difference was the materials to summon them. Now, the ingredients are there.